I'm John Sadler, president of Sadler Sports and Recreation Insurance, and I've known George Nordhaus for many years. And we were delighted when George invited us to be the niche specialist for sports and recreation insurance for the USA Insurance Network. I've been in this niche now for over 30 years, and we've insured local associations and national associations in all 50 states, and we've seen just about every problem and the related solution. Now, we understand that the local associations need broad coverages at competitive prices, but even more importantly, they need these delivered with speed and convenience, and that's where we excel. Here's a list of the sports and recreation niches for which we either have our own custom program or have identified a best-in-industry program to tap into. The majority of our clients are teams and leagues, sports camps and clinics, tournament hosts, and health clubs, but we also insure a lot of martial arts, gymnastics and dance studios, and sports facilities. We insure both amateur, youth and adult sports, but not pro sports. We also target local community-based sports programs, not school-related and not national sanctioning bodies. However, if you're working with a national sanctioning body prospect, we would still like to talk to you and will point you in the right direction if we can't be of benefit in-house. While there's some accounts that can generate premiums in the $5,000 to $10,000 range, the truth is that most of these accounts generate less than $1,000 in premium volume on average, and as a result, you must be deadly efficient, or else you'll definitely lose money. We'll discuss how we can help you to be deadly efficient a little bit later. There are two sources of prospects. Most commonly, they'll find you when one of your personal lines clients or an owner of a small business account suddenly becomes a league president, for example. Because of the trusted relationship with you, they want you to handle their sports insurance needs. If sports is not one of your intentional target niches, this is more of an accommodation, and you just want to handle the transaction as quickly as possible, and you don't want to embarrass yourself, or you certainly don't want to make an E&O blunder. This is where our automation efficiency and quick educational and risk management resources come into play to bail you out. The second source is when you intentionally decide to become an expert in the sports and recreation niche and target accounts in your community or even statewide. It's relatively easy to find prospects through registration announcements either in local newspapers or other online resources, or to conduct web searches of local sports and rec organizations. If you're going to get into this niche, it requires a specialty education and risk management resources which we can quickly and easily provide. The sports and recreation niche requires special knowledge and resources in a number of areas that you don't typically run into when servicing your other commercial accounts. I've listed just some of the examples where you may need help. There are a number of dangerous general liability policy exclusions that can result in E&O exposure, such as exclusions for athletic participants, punitive damages, 24/7 exposure for ownership of fields or facilities, and the contractual liability limitation, just to name a few. There are also a number of coverage enhancement endorsements which should be offered, such as sex abuse and molestation and non-owned and hired auto liability. And you should always offer what we call optional policies, which are frequently needed in the sports and rec niches, such as directors and officers liability, crime, and equipment. And then there's the all-important waiver or release, which is definitely worth the paper it's written on, despite what you may have been told by local legal counsel. You must also understand contractual transfer through the use of indemnification and hold harmless agreements. And then finally, you need to be ready to offer off-the-shelf risk management program templates for your clients to adopt and implement, such as for sex abuse and molestation, concussion brain injury, and general risk management awareness programs which key in on safety in facilities, equipment, instruction, supervision, sports injury care, and auto safety. And honestly, you can just let your clients access our risk management page and they can service themselves. And if they have any questions you can't answer, you can just ask us or refer them to us. We've already discussed how you need to be deadly efficient with these smaller accounts in order to make a profit. Before we talk about how we can do this for you, I wanted to take a minute to talk about how not to be efficient. Thankfully for us, most of our competitors are still doing business the old-fashioned way and are not very efficient. The typical transaction with a competitor may involve completing a long application just to get a quote, playing communication tag over phone or email, gathering hard copy loss runs, waiting several days to get a quote, and then once coverage is bound, waiting several more days to get a certificate issued while your client is screaming that they need a certificate to get on the field. We were the first in the industry in the sports niche to program instant online quote pay print. We have this available for teams and leagues, camps and clinics, tournament hosts, and studios. The entire transaction can be handled in as little as 10 minutes. We do have other programs for sports facilities and multi-sport operations that require the completion of a simple web form, and we have a 24 to 48 hour turnaround time on those submissions. Our commissions are competitive in the marketplace, and also you need to take into account that our technology greatly reduces the time you spend on the transaction, which greatly reduces your expenses. For our instant online quote pay print programs, you're able to self-quote and issue new business and can self-issue new certificates of insurance. Here's our special USA Insurance Network webpage. The link to this page can be found on either the cover or the final page of this video. Notice for the commissionable programs how we break out the programs that have instant online quote pay print versus the ones that have a turnaround time of 24 to 48 hours. Let's take a quick tour of one of our most popular programs for sports teams and leagues. Notice here for the accident and general liability, we have a simple rate table with pre-published rates, so you can very quickly give a quote indication to your prospects. Also, scroll down and notice that for the D&O, the cost is $300 per board. The crime is $200, and the equipment, the rate's $2 per $100 of coverage. If you want to give someone either a proposal or go all the way to the bind and issue, you click on this link here. And as little as 10 minutes, you can fill out a few forms, you can pay with your agency's credit card or checking account, and you can print off the proof of coverage docs and the certificates for your clients. And here's the risk management page, which I discussed earlier. This has best in industry risk management content, and this content is broken out by category for your easy navigation. Thanks for listening to our presentation, and feel free to contact our office by phone or email if you have any questions, and be sure to let us know that you're a USA Insurance Network agency. We appreciate your consideration, and we really do want to make sports insurance easy and profitable for you.